Hi, so in this one we're going to go through some Microsoft Teams tips and tricks, fresh for 2024. So along with some of the basics that I think it's good to get grounded in, we'll go through some of the new apps appearing in Microsoft for 2024. So let's get straight into it. The basics are the basics, and you can't beat the basics, as someone wiser than me once said. The basics of Teams are set up a large team, larger than you think you need. If you're an SMB, try and get away with one team, only split out where there's a privacy need, and the rest will be easier or irrelevant because you'll be working more out in the open, speed up time to decision making, and there's one place to do everything. If you need help doing that, that's what I do. I'm now a consultant that helps organizations get the most out of Microsoft 365. If you're interested in working together, then stick around to the end or check out some of the links in the description below to get in contact with me. So we want to set up quite a large team, have no overlapping channels. So there's one place to do everything, one place for your files. Channels is the first place that you will start your file structure because every channel sets up a folder in the SharePoint site that gets set up when you set the team up. If you're interested in knowing a bit more about what happens when you set a team up and all the nuances about that, then check out this video that I recorded recently. But assuming you've done that, then the two main basics that make everything else easier in Teams is one, to only use the Teams bit of Teams and don't use chat. If you've got like something one-to-one that's private, that's not really work related, maybe you're ill and you just want to message your boss, chat's fine for that. But a lot of organizations get tied up in knots by overusing chat. So if you can move into Teams channels, that will make your life so much easier. And when you're in a channel, assuming that you are used to either using chat or using Teams with not a lot of people in, there's a couple of things that you might need to change your behavior to get the most out of using Teams channels. So Microsoft for 2024, since did our last main Microsoft Teams training tutorial, they used to have a little text box down the bottom, and it was quite difficult to see whether you were replying to an existing thread or starting a new post. That's now gone because there's a start a post button. And if you click start a post, it now pops up with a lot more stuff than it used to. So you used to have to click a little button to make this box bigger, to add a subject and type a message. Now for 2024, Microsoft have helped us out with that, so we don't need to train people to do that anymore. So if you're starting a new thread, we should say always add a subject, which, like I said before, was a bit more tricky to get to, wasn't that obvious, so that when you're in a thread of information, you can quite quickly see what that thread of information is about. So we'll add a subject, and we're just in a testing bit now. And always, always, always add an app mention into a new post, or assume that no one's going to see it. So if you want to put something into a channel just for information, and whether people see it or not is fine, then don't put an app mention. But if you, in a normal organization, if you're putting a new post and you don't put an app mention, assume no one is going to see your post. So we always want to do an app mention, and if we just start typing, it's going to suggest some things for us. So if we do a channel mention, which is at, you can either start typing at channel and it'll mention the channel you're in, or you can do at and start typing the name of the channel. So we're in testing and we can at mention the channel testing. Everybody who hasn't hidden that channel will get pinged about your post now. Assuming you've got your teams and channels set up correctly, which again, if you need help doing that, that's part of what I help organizations do to get the most out of Microsoft 365. It's good to start with Teams. Assuming you've got all that sorted, then people will have shown channels that they work in and hidden channels that they don't work in. So anything hidden channel is for information, or people can go in and see if they want to. If they've shown the channel, i.e. it's visible in their list, they're accepting notifications from those channels. And so if you do at channel, it's going to ping everybody in that channel that's not hidden that channel. If you want to make sure someone specifically has got it, then we can, I can't actually mention myself, but if you at mention someone specifically, you can do individual at mentions as well. So always start a new thread with a heading and a at mention. If there's an existing thread, then click reply. So those are the only two basic things you need to know when moving to Teams channels away from chat. Chat pings everybody in the chat by default. Because of that, most people then mute a lot of chats, same as WhatsApp, and then it's difficult to get things through. So at mentioning, again with the reply, it's going to ping everybody in that thread of information above you by default, but they could have turned their notifications off for that thread. So make sure that you're doing an at mention in a reply as well if you're replying to a specific person, just to make sure that they get it. Another tip, if you do have a long thread of information, say that a thread was started, you added something in, and then that conversation sort of moved away from what you put in, or you just wanted to throw in your 2p or 2 cents worth of information into that thread, you can click the 3 dots, and then, yeah, if it wasn't my thread and there were other people in there, there'd be an option to say mute this conversation thread. So you can turn off notifications just for that specific thread. Whilst we're in this menu, another little tip is that you can create a task from a message. So because I use HubSpot, I can even create a task in HubSpot if I wanted to here, or you can create a task in Planner, which is right here, and that'll then link back into that conversation thread so I can see the context of what was going on, and I can write a task for myself to do with that conversation thread in Teams. I can either put that into at the time of recording, which is changing shortly as Planner changes, which if you want to know more about the new Planner changes, check out this video here. At the time of recording, you can either put that as a personal task, which will go into tasks. Only you can see that by default unless you choose to share it. Or you can put it into a Planner board, which in this instance is living inside a team. So we can put it into our Planner board, and that's shared for everybody to see that's it within that team that's got the permissions to see it. So those are the basics that you need to get in best out of Teams channels. If you want to know more and you don't want any consulting help, you just want to learn for free on YouTube, then check out this video here that's got a full Teams training tutorial. If you're new into Teams, it uses the old version of Teams, but pretty much everything's the same for getting the basics. It's 4 hours long, it used to be paid, and now it's available on YouTube for free. So check that out if you are new into Teams and want to know the most out of it. But if you want to carry on watching this video, we're going to dive into some of the new features in Microsoft 365 that have made their way to Teams for 2024 that won't be in that other video. So first one is the Meet app. If you don't see that, it'll be in your 3-dot menu and you can search for Meet. You might need to add it in if it's not there by clicking the Add button. And this is sort of like a different view of your calendar. So obviously you will have the calendar app shown by default. That shows you into the normal view of your calendar. If you didn't know, you can jump that into an agenda view, which you might prefer instead. So maybe looking a bit more like your phone app. But the Meet app is supposed to like bring out some more rich stuff about your meetings. So I've got the next 3 Teams meetings lined up. I think it looks over the next week or so, and you can join your meeting right from here. You can reschedule it. You can chat with other participants straight from here. And if we're getting close to the meeting, it's got a I'm running late button, so you can quickly message people to say I'm running late straight from Meet. So that's quite useful. And then underneath is your recently finished meetings, and it's, bringing it to life a bit more rather than scrolling through the chat to find your other meetings or into channel to find your meetings. So bringing everything together wherever those meetings are from. If you pay for Teams Intelligent Recap via Microsoft Teams Premium, or you're lucky enough to have Microsoft 365 Copilot, then you'll be able to get Intelligent Recap via the Meet app. If we come to this one, we can quickly click on View Recap. It jumps into the Intelligent Recap. It's got the meeting notes that are generated by AI, and it's got some tasks for us as well. And on the front page of the Meet app, it also shows us where we shared any files. So in this one, we were using PowerPoint, and we can jump straight to that PowerPoint slide if we want. The Intelligent Recap is picking out tasks, so it's picking out where it thinks there might be some tasks that we need to go and look at, and where people have mentioned my name in this instance. So check out the Meet app. It's free, and sometimes I think it's quite useful. I was a bit skeptical when it first came out, but I do find myself using it more so than Calendar now to quickly join meetings and to quickly find my recaps rather than scrolling through the chat, which might be taken up by some other things. Next new thing for 2024 is the OneDrive app, which you might have seen change from files. So the app used to be called Files. I never used it when it was Files. So if you've unpinned it and hidden it, again, that might be lurking in your three-dot menu. But the Files app is now being renamed OneDrive. And again, I was skeptical. I do find myself using this a little bit more now. If you're getting confused about OneDrive, Teams, and SharePoint, I feel your pain. I've made a video about that here, so go and watch that if you're getting confused. But you might be forgiven for coming into OneDrive and thinking, these are all my files. I thought they were mine that no one else could see. They're not in Teams. And you would be right. So this one you can see is in Testing Team for YouTube. That's in Teams. This one's in My Files. That's just in my own OneDrive. So it's showing you files from across the Microsoft ecosystem wherever they live, so you can get back quickly to them, which is really useful if you understand the nuances about where to save stuff. And again, check out this video about all the latest developments in the new OneDrive, and check out this video for the difference between SharePoint, Teams, and OneDrive. And if you're just getting completely confused, then consider booking a call and I can help out your organization. If you just want to know more information yourself and you don't have, your organization doesn't have any budget and you just want to get quick answers, then consider joining the channel. So you can always ask a question in the comments and I get to those eventually. If you support the channel by joining the channel, then you get first dibs on me answering your questions in the comments. And if you really want some help, then consider the highest tier, MeTime Mastermind, where you get weekly live calls with me to ask anything you want about Microsoft 365, as well as some courses that are behind a paywall for members only. The personal productivity course to sort of supercharge your productivity, personal productivity, using Microsoft 365 for 2024. So as well as showing you all the latest files in OneDrive, Teams, SharePoint, wherever they live in the Microsoft ecosystem, you can quickly get back to them. If you set your default to open in the app, then it'll ping out into Excel, Word, PowerPoint for you. If you haven't done that, you can just click on the three dots and do change default. So you can either open it in a browser, open it in an app, or just open it directly in Teams, depending on your preference. And two new things that cropped up in OneDrive, in the new OneDrive, which are pretty useful and now more accessible now it's in Teams, is browsing files by people. So you can see who you shared files with and then just get straight back to them. And by meetings, so similar to the Meet app, it's showing you the files that are associated with those meetings. If you want to go and watch the recording or the replay, you can see all of the past meetings there and just go and click on the files that you shared. So here we shared a Word document. Planner is worth having a look at, keeping a look at, because it's at the moment tasked by Planner and To Do. It should have changed, be changing the name just to Planner, and Microsoft have got lots of exciting things planned for Planner to bring Microsoft To Do, Planner and Project on the Web all together into one app, which should fix some of the issues that we're seeing with Planner. And if you want to know more about that, that's a video in itself. So check out this video next if you are interested in the new Microsoft Planner. But to get things done across your organization, I would encourage you to use Microsoft Planner. You can pin it into a tab of a team, and this sidebar app then shows you all of the plans across every team that you're in and everything that's assigned to you. So wherever a task is created, whether it's in Loop, whether it's in Planner, if you want to know more about Loop, check out this video here. You can see quite quickly that just getting into Teams gets you into pretty much every app in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, which is why we usually start with Teams, and that makes everything else easier or irrelevant when we look at an organizational efficiency improvement. In my consulting job, then you can see everything flows through back, so you can see everything assigned to you. You never miss a task, and Planner chases people up for you. So if you assign a task to someone and a due date, it's going to chase them up multiple times before the due date is done, and then after they don't do it and miss their deadline, it will keep chasing them until they do it. So use tasks by Planner To Do, which is now about to be called Microsoft Planner for 2024. And then almost there, tips and tricks for 2024 in Microsoft Teams. is Viva Insights. So again, this one might be one that's not defaulted. It'll be in your three-dot menu, just search for it. And you can get access to a lot of things for free. You can get headspace meditations for free. So there's what lo-fi time, zoom out and focus that's recommended for us right now. You can get some insights about your meetings and things. But the most useful thing, tip and trick for Microsoft Teams that most people don't turn on is Focus Plan. So I've got a Focus Plan already set up. If we click on change settings, so you can set some lunch hours for you to block out time for lunch if you want. I tend not to have lunch, it works straight through, so I haven't got that turned on. You can have meeting days turned on if you wanted to, and I think that might be part of the paid subscription, so your manager can push out non-meeting days to you, but you have to pay an extra license for that. But what you can do for free is manage your own focus time. So I like to have big blocks of time to focus and get stuff done. And so I've selected 4 hours. You can have 1, 2, or 4. You can say when you prefer to schedule focus time. So I prefer to just start work, bosh things in the morning, and catch up on collaboration after my main task is done. So I like 4 hours in the morning, and it says don't schedule focus time earlier than 8:30 because I've got small kids and they're usually off to school by 8:30. I'll get interrupted if I try to start focus time before then. And then you can also get it to silence notifications for you from Teams whilst you're in that focus time. And if you set all that and say what days you want focus time on, it'll, for the next 2 weeks, try and block that time out in your calendar. So for the next 2 weeks, I want to be not available on purpose. And people can schedule meetings in the afternoon if they want. If they're booking 3 weeks or more out, it's like, cool, you can select whatever time you want. And then say someone had put something in at a 9 o'clock meeting in the morning, focus time's clever enough to well, I'll block out 4 hours after that for you. Or someone puts something in at like 11 o'clock in the middle of the morning, it might schedule a couple of hours before then and a couple of hours after. So you're sort of blocking out your calendar so you've actually got time to do stuff that you already know you need to do, because collaboration is great, but also we need some time just to focus and do the work that's important. Otherwise we get caught up in interruptions and minutiae. Those are some of the new apps for 2024. Last thing that isn't new, but a lot of people miss, is that when you set up a team, it sets up quite a lot of stuff in the background for you, as well as a fully fledged SharePoint site, which is where it handles all the documents, but also handles a lot of the pages. So you've got a fully fledged intranet, so it's as powerful as a full company intranet in each team. And so you can use that to bring content to life even within a team, and everyone in the team's got the ability to make any pages they want. So you could make, in this example, a little course content, an outline with multiple web pages and steps and actions and links to videos and links back to documents, and just bring your content to life. Q&A, external links, embedded forms, and you can use that to make meeting minutes or outputs for meetings or prep for meetings or whatever you want to collaborate on. Just bring it to life with a bit more content in how you would consume it in your personal life. So rather than attaching a PowerPoint slide to an email, actually now we can bring and start to fledge out an intranet, linked web pages, pictures, videos, rich content. Just think about different ways that you would like to consume content, and therefore people that you're collaborating with might want to consume content, and put it into a SharePoint page within the team. So here we've got one pinned into our channel, and everyone can go back through, everyone can add to that. You can sort of start to build out a knowledge base in your team, and it's just really powerful. And lots more developments and things that have come along the way, like Loop and OneNote and what to use when, but SharePoint Pages is the one that actually can do a lot of that stuff for you and look great, and is already there and has been since Teams inception, that a lot of people miss. So nice little tip and trick to remember for 2024. If you want to know more about creating SharePoint pages for your team, check out this video here. And hopefully you like this video. Remember to give it a thumbs up, click the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified every time a new video comes out. We've got new videos on Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Teams coming out at least every Tuesday. Consider supporting the channel. Join the channel using the join button below to get priority access to getting your questions asked in the comments, to get new videos ahead of everyone else, or to join the MeTime Mastermind where we have weekly live calls with me and access to previously paid courses inside that membership fee. And if you need even more help to help your whole organization work more productively, save time at work, to do more of the things that you love, that's what I do in my consulting company. And we book a call using the link in the description below if you want to work together, see if we're a good fit, and sort of tease out some of the pain points that you've got in your organization. During that call, then go to metimeservices.com/call to find out more. Thanks for watching so far, and we'll see you in the next one.